I'm here tonight with somebody who really doesn't need an introduction. Brad Travis.
How's it going, Bart?
Doing good. Thanks for coming on
How
the
you
show.
bet, man?
I'm good.
Yeah, good to be
Thanks
here.
for coming on. I just, everybody sees you on TV almost every night, but I wanted to give viewers, a chance to, peek behind the curtain. Who is Brad Travis? All that good stuff. So I appreciate you doing this. Tell us, take us back in time. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? And how'd you get into wanting to be a meteorologist?
Well, I'm from Kansas, southern Kansas, so right on the Oklahoma state line. Dad was a teacher. My mom was a nurse. And I can remember at an early age, we're talking when I was this tall, I'd have tornado sirens going off in the neighborhood, and I'd be riding my bike around. And I mean, back in the 70s, your parents hardly knew where you were half the time.
Right.
So,
right.
They turned the porch light on and you'd come home. But stuff like that, I was always fascinated with how the weather worked. I can still remember crawling into my parents' bed in the middle of the night, hearing the tornado sirens, and they just sounded different when I was a young kid. They were terrifying.
Yeah.
But I figured, the more I learned about that, the more I would be able to face it. And I was just fascinated. I was a kid that rearranged my room all the time. I never every 6 months or so, I'd rearrange the room. I never liked everything to be the same. So I think I didn't want a job that I was going to show up at and it was going to be the same thing every day.
Yeah.
And I did that. When I was in college, I worked at a Crayola crayon factory.
Yeah.
And it was just the assembly line doing those packs of 64 crayons. So it was in that moment, I'm like, I think one of the best things you figure out when you're young, you're in your 20s, is what you don't want to do.
Right.
And then you find out what you really want to do at times. I mean, I'm lucky. There's a lot of people out there, they still don't know what they want to do.
Yeah.
And for some, college is overrated. I mean, you're going to figure out what you want to do. I came back from Saudi Arabia. I was over there. I was a cook in the Army. So my original—
Desert Storm?
Yeah,
right?
Desert Storm back in 91. And my original plan was to get a double pension from the federal government. I was going to be a lieutenant. I was going to become a officer in the Air Force because the Army didn't have a lot of weather at that time. Of course, you have the artillery that needs kind of weather reports and stuff like that. But the Air Force and the Navy, they do a lot more weather. So I was gonna go back and do the Air Force, and I was going to go to the National Weather Service. But the month I was graduating from college, University of Kansas, they had a hiring freeze in the Weather Service. So I had to figure out what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be on TV.
Yeah. But hey, that's worked out for you.
It's fit me quite well. I was like, that's not for me. But I got a call from someone I did an internship with and had to try out for the job. And I've got $5 an hour, 16 hours a week. So I had to work another full-time job just to pay the bills. And that lasted about 4 months. And then I got into TV and kept moving on and moving up. And
you've been in Huntsville a while. Where all have you been doing meteorology?
My first job on TV was in Topeka, Kansas. And it was like 6 months. I was on this 6-month pattern. Then I went to North Platte, Nebraska, which is the smallest television market in the country.
Okay.
That lasted 6 months. So then I came here and I started doing weekends and then moved up to mornings and then became the chief. So it was just one of those things. I just kept working myself up. And a lot of people are like, why did you stay here? I'm like, I love the area.
Yeah.
We raised a family here. And, it's a great weather market.
What is it like calling these significant weather events? Whether it was April 2011 or, some of the big ice storms we've had in the past.
I realize those are the big moments that kind of define you as a meteorologist in your community. And I realize I'm not always going to be right, but people want an answer. They want to know just like this, the developing winter storms we've had, a lot of people just like to share the model data. I'm like, here's what I really think is going to happen. So you really go into the science of everything and you realize you're basically talking to an audience that immediately is going to question something. Yeah. You're always going to get, I'll believe that when I see it, or must be nice to get paid and be wrong 100% of the time or whatever. I mean, I get all those little jokes. Yeah. And I'll be on Facebook, I'm like, man, this guy's my friend and he's talking like this. What's going on? But people want answers. The biggest challenge now is people want to know exactly what's going to happen. They want to know because they want to cancel a birthday or they want to move a wedding. They want to move a sporting event. So there's a lot of lot of weight that comes with that, to be
Yeah,
honest, especially when you get into the severe weather aspect. Because the last thing I want to do is overhype something, and then people like, oh, he said that the last time. There's no way that's going to happen.
Yeah,
so that's a
you don't want
big
to be
challenge.
the boy that cried wolf,
Right.
But you also don't want to undercall something, and then
Yes.
people be caught flat-footed in some disaster.
Yeah, and being a first alert station, the research shows people are willing to accept that you may be wrong, but you just have to be upfront and honest about the possibilities and things, and let them make a decision on what they think they should do.
Yeah. Tell us, have you ever had a moment in your career that was just like really meaningful? Like you were able to call something maybe others didn't see and it helped somebody out there?
I've had several of those. The most recent was the Killingsworth Cove tornado.
Okay.
Because, and I've met this gentleman, they had a mobile home, and it was like at the base of Killingsworth Cove. They were probably 4 minutes from the storm shelter.
Yeah.
And he said something about your voice when you said, and wait a minute, I don't like how this is coming together, made him give pause and said, we need to go to the storm shelter. And his house was blown probably 300 yards into the field, just destroyed. So, I mean, that's kind of an amazing moment when you realize you are having that impact. I know there's some days when you feel like you're not, especially when you miss a big forecast and then you get pounded on, and social media makes it so much worse because everybody's just typing away. But it's those moments that make up for the others.
Last question, the Bumble meter.
Oh, the Bumble meter, yeah.
Everybody loves that on Facebook.
They do.
What's the background on that?
Several years back, I wanted a way to let everyone in the audience know this is really going to happen. Because there's so many times when you lead up to an event and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's too warm, it just faded away. And so those are the worst moments for me. And, you know, they get the pitchforks out and things like that. But I was like, when I'm highest confident that it is going to snow, I changed my profile picture to the Abominable Snowman. And it was because I love that movie, the Christmas movie, him and Rudolph Shiny New Year, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and I said, you know what, I'm going to do a Bumble meter because everybody's sharing these models and nobody really knows for sure if it's really going to snow.
Right.
So it kind of keeps them in suspense on what to expect. So you kind of go through. Social media is a mess with the number of stuff that gets shared. It started with hurricane season, showing hurricanes that never happen, and it relates to winter storms too. So I think some people get it. It's their cue to, hey, this is really happening.
Yeah.
So that's the story behind that.
Well, Brad, we appreciate all you do, and thank you for being on the show.
Bart. Man, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Aaron, back to you.
When the Siniard Law Show returns, we'll get to more of your questions, and we'll tell you how you can get a free newsletter from